respected colleagues, and members of the securities market ecosystem. Ladies and gentlemen, a very, very good morning to all of you present here.
जनगण अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा
Shri Chairman SEBI, let's welcome our leader with a big round of applause. Our keynote speaker, Ms. Samara Cohen, Senior MD of BlackRock. Samara, thank you so much. Let's give her a warm round of applause as we welcome her, and CEO of NSDL. Ladies and gentlemen, the applause has to be roaring. We've got such great leaders under one roof. May I please urge our dignitaries to now join us towards the lamp for the lamp lighting ceremony. It's only moments like these. Last on stage here to kickstart with Samvad 2026, and we are here to begin with the inaugural ceremony. And it's truly a befitting moment that the topmost leaders are here to encourage all of us today. The MD and CEO of NSE, Shri Ashish Kumar.
Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. It's a privilege to welcome all of you to Samvad 26, convened by SEBI and NISM, a forum to reflect on how our markets have evolved. And
as she's present, let's call her Ms. Samara Cohen.
First trip to India, and I made sure to arrive early. Join.
Because capital flows most freely where trust runs deepest. Today I would like to reflect on one overarching idea.
I also take the opportunity of inviting our set of experts on stage, the MD and CEO, ladies and gentlemen, of BSE. Once again, let's give it up and call upon stage Shri Sundaram Raman Ramamurthy ji, along with Shri Nehal Vora, MD CDSL, Dignitary Shri Ashish Kumar Chauhan ji. We're requesting Shri Sunil Kadam, Executive Director SEBI, to just allow us a few minutes before we get set for our next session. But can we kindly request you all to say Stephen? Thank you so much.
Officially now you got the information from SEBI that your settlement has been accepted. So what's your reaction and how going ahead, what will be the process? And
Next for this session, as we all know, India's capital markets have come a long way. We have expanded.
Invest in AI, find that they must completely train their existing.
Dependent on foreigners or a few individuals.
So hi guys, good morning, welcome to my new blog. तो guys अभी गुड मॉर्निंग नहीं, गुड नाइट हो रही है क्योंकि अभी रात के 8-9 बज रही है. और गाइस आज के जो ब्लॉग होने वाला है बहुत ही अमेजिंग होने वाला है, क्योंकि आज मैं जाने वाला हूँ बड़ौदा से सीधा मुंबई. तो एक मुंबई में एक इवेंट होने वाला है जो संवाद है, तो वो होगा सेबी NISM, जिसके अंदर BSE, NSE, NSDL और CDSL की टीम आएंगी और जिसके साथ हमारा संवाद होगा. और इसमें देखते हैं कि हमको क्या क्या सीखने को मिलता है या क्या क्या बातचीत होती है. और आज हम वहाँ जाएंगे मुंबई, जो है बांद्रा में, BKC में. तो आज का लगभग इवेंट बहुत ही इंटरेस्टिंग होगा. देखते हैं मुंबई में क्या क्या सीखने को हमें मिलेगा उस इवेंट के अंदर. तो आपको भी हमारे साथ बने रहना, लास्ट तक देखना, क्योंकि आपको भी देखने को सीखने को मिलेगा. तो चलते हैं आज मुंबई. तो अभी मैं आपको दिखा देता हूँ कि बाहर का नज़ारा कैसा है. बाहर अभी रात हो चुकी है, तो आपको मैं दिखाता हूँ। रुकना, अभी बात करता है, रुकना आप। तो ये देखिए आप बाहर का नज़ारा, रात हो चुकी है, जिसके अंदर अभी फटाके ही फटाके फोड़ रहे हैं, वो देखिए आप, देखा। तो अभी तो रात हो चुकी है, तो अभी मेरे रात के 12 बजे के बाद ट्रेन है, तो हम जाएंगे सीधा मुंबई। अब मैं आपको सीधा मुंबई मिल लूंगा, क्योंकि रात के अंदर बिल्कुल शूट नहीं कर सकता हूँ। ओके, तो बने रहना लास्ट तक। मैं रेलवे स्टेशन आ चुका हूँ, अब मेरे सामने ही है, ये देख लिए। चलो चलते हैं अंदर और दिखाता हूँ आपको ट्रेन। अंदर जाके मैं मिलता हूँ। ओके, तो दोस्तों मुंबई में आपका स्वागत है सपनों की सिटी में। तो हम पहुंच चुके हैं मुंबई, आपको मैं दिखा रहा हूँ सामने। तो ये देखिए मुंबई सिटी जो अब आने वाली है, बस 5 मिनट के अंदर, है ना?
अगला स्टेशन बन रहा है।
ओके ओके। तो गाइस मैं ट्रेन से बाहर आ चुका हूँ और अब चलते हैं बाहर की ओर। आप देख सकते हो मेरे पीछे ये ट्रेन, और अब मैं आपको दिखाता हूँ बाहर का नज़ारा। चलो चलते हैं बाहर। एक गाड़ी कौन सी आगे भाई, चलो बाहर। गाइस मैं रेलवे स्टेशन से बाहर आ चुका हूँ और अब चलते हैं अपने मंजिल की ओर। देखिए आप, कैसा लग रहा है आपको? सुबह सुबह 6:30 बजे का नज़ारा, देखिए आप। हो चुकी है, अब मैं आपको दिखाता हूँ सामने का नज़ारा सुबह का, बहुत ही अच्छा दिख रहा है। तो देखिए, वो देखिए आप, सुबह को 7 बज चुकी है और सुबह हो चुकी है। देखो कैसा लग रहा है आपको मुंबई की सिटी। चलो चलते हैं आगे और आपको बहुत कुछ दिखाऊंगा आज। चीज़ें बहुत बहुत अच्छी है जो मेरे सामने आएगी या पास में आएगी, तो हम सब देखेंगे, ठीक है? बस लोग बने रहना लास्ट तक, तो देखते हैं। बहुत बहुत अच्छी अच्छी चीज़ें हैं यार। मेरे सामने NSE की बिल्डिंग दिख गई है, NSE नेशनल स्टॉक एक्सचेंज। तो देखिए मेरे सामने, वो देखिए आप। तो दोस्तों मेरे सामने ही है NSE की बिल्डिंग, आप देख सकते हो। चलो पास में चलता है और आपको मैं दिखाता हूँ, ठीक है। वो देखिए आप, चलो चलते हैं और पास में ले जाता हूँ मैं आपको। और इस साइड देखिए आप, ये क्या है भाई, ये तो बहुत गंदा कीचड़ है। तो इसके सामने ही आप देख सकते हो NSE की बिल्डिंग। चलो चलते हैं पास में और आपको मैं दिखाता हूँ, ठीक है। तो गाइस मेरे एकदम सामने है NSE की बिल्डिंग, बहुत अच्छी दिख रही है। आपको दिखाऊँ एक बार और, तो वापस देखिए आप, वो देखिए आप, वो कितनी बड़ी बिल्डिंग दिख रही है। जूम करूँ, ये देखो। चलो आपको मैं पास में ले जाता हूँ। तो आज हम पास में आ चुके हैं NSE की बिल्डिंग के पास। तो मेरे सामने ही है, आपको एक चीज़ दिखाता हूँ, वो देखिए, वो निफ्टी 50 किंग ऑफ NSE। चलो चलते हैं पास में और कुछ दिखाता हूँ आपको। गाइज ये NSE की बिल्डिंग, गाइज ये देखिए आप NSE की बिल्डिंग। और इसके अंदर क्या है भाई, वो देखिए बिग बुल, ठीक है। ये बहुत ही अच्छी बिल्डिंग है, आपको भी अच्छी लग रही होगी। चलो चलते हैं आगे और कुछ दिखाता हूँ आपको मैं। मेरी पीछे दिख रही है आपको NSE की बिल्डिंग और मेरा आगे है सेबी की बिल्डिंग। वो देखिए आप, सेबी की बिल्डिंग दिख रही है आपको। और मेरे पीछे नेशनल स्टॉक एक्सचेंज की बिल्डिंग है, बहुत बड़ी बिल्डिंग है भाई, क्या ही बताऊँ। देख कर ही मेरा चक्कर आने लग जाता है, क्योंकि बहुत बड़ी बड़ी बिल्डिंग है। तो अब आगे जाता है और कुछ दिखाता हूँ मैं आपको। चलो चलते हैं और क्या क्या आता है रास्ते में भाई। ये कैसी बिल्डिंग है भाई,
तो गाइस मेरे पास में जियो वर्ल्ड सेंटर आ गया है और आज उसी के अंदर संवाद होने वाला है NSE और BSE और सेबी के द्वारा तो संवाद होगा। चलिए आपको मैं दिखाता हूँ, मेरे सामने ये बिल्डिंग एकदम। चलो आगे जाते हैं थोड़ा और। तो गाइस आ गए है, मेरे सामने ही है, दिख नहीं रहा क्योंकि ज़्यादा पेड़ पौधे लगे हुए हैं इसलिए ये आपको दिखा होगा। थोड़ा आगे जाता हूँ और ये है ग्राउंड, क्रिकेट ग्राउंड। चलिए आगे जाता है, आपको और दिखाता हूँ मैं। तो आ गए मेरे सामने, आपको मैं दिखा रहा हूँ। तो देखिए आप, और भीड़ बहुत लगी हुई यहाँ पे, दिखाता हूँ आपको सामने। ये देखिए आप भीड़, और ये आ गया है जियो। दोस्तों ये आ चुका है जियो वर्ल्ड सेंटर। ये देखिए आप, जियो वर्ल्ड कन्वेंशन सेंटर। चलो अंदर चलते हैं और आपको मैं दिखाता हूँ सब कुछ। तो ये आ चुका है जियो वर्ल्ड कन्वेंशन का गेट। चलो अंदर चलते हैं। तो गाइस मैं अंदर आ चुका हूँ। अब आप देख सकते हो कितना अच्छा दिख रहा है जियो वर्ल्ड सेंटर, जो आज इसके अंदर होने वाला है NSE का इवेंट। तो चलिए चलते हैं आगे और आपको मैं एक बार दिखा देता हूँ, एक बार फिर से देखिए, बहुत ही अच्छा। चलिए चलते हैं आगे। देखिए यहाँ पर बहुत बड़ी टीवी लगी हुई है और इसके अंदर ये वाले इवेंट होते हैं। ये देखिए दोस्तों, ये क्या है, घोड़े। दोस्तों ये संवाद वाला किसमें? थर्ड फ्लोर ऊपर। ये नहीं ठीक है, ओके। अच्छा चलिए तो भाई जहाँ पर इवेंट होने वाला है, जहाँ पर मैं आ गया हूँ NSE के द्वारा, संवाद के द्वारा, सेबी के द्वारा। तो आप देख सकते हैं मेरे सामने ही है और चलते हैं अंदर, आपको मैं दिखाता हूँ सब कुछ। संवाद, ये मेन गेट और इसके अंदर रजिस्ट्रेशन करेंगे हम। चलो रजिस्ट्रेशन कराते हैं यहाँ पे, आप देख सकते हो इस तरह है। और यहाँ पे स्टोर लगा हुआ है NSE BSE के द्वारा और भीड़ भी बहुत सारी भाई। चलते हैं अंदर। तो गाइस मैंने रजिस्ट्रेशन करवा कर ये कार्ड ले लिया, एंट्री कार्ड, और मुझे एक बैग मिला है। चलो अंदर जाते हैं और आपको बहुत कुछ दिखाता हूँ, ठीक है। देख सकते हो कितना कुछ लग रहा है। तो जाते हैं अब हम, और मेरे सामने स्टॉल लगे हुए आप देख सकते हो संवाद के। NSE, BSE, SEBI, NISM, CDSL और NSDL। ये देखिए आप कितने अच्छे लगे हुए हैं। BSE, तो गाइस अभी अंदर जाते हैं। अब आपको मैं दिखाता हूँ मेरे सामने। चलो अंदर जाते हैं। फर्स्ट टाइम ब्लॉगिंग, संवाद, फर्स्ट टाइम ब्लॉगिंग स्टार्टिंग नाउ। आगे बैठे सीन नहीं देगा, आगे 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 VIP सीट पे आगे बैठते हैं, यहाँ से बैठेंगे हम। बीच में जाते हैं, हाँ बीच आगे 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 आगे। तो गाइस अब हम जाने वाले हैं ब्रेकफास्ट करने के लिए। तो अभी ब्रेकफास्ट रेडी है ना? हाँ, पेट पूजा करनी है, पेट पूजा करनी है। तो देखिए सामने बहुत सारे लोग, तो देखिए यहाँ पर ब्रेकफास्ट चालू है और मैं और मेरे दोस्त सभी जा रहे हैं ब्रेकफास्ट करने के लिए। चलो चलते हैं, पेट में बहुत भूख लगी है। They have say something.
Steve is stopping.
Speakers, respected colleagues, and members of the securities market ecosystem. Ladies and gentlemen, a very, very good morning to all of you present here. On behalf of SEBI and NISM, it's my absolute privilege to welcome all of you to Samvad 2026, being held here in the financial capital of India, in association with NSE, BSE, NSDL and CDSL. My name is Bhavna Bhatta, I'm the industry for over 15 plus years, and it's truly my honor to be your master of ceremony for today. Samvad, true to its name, is a platform for dialogue and deliberation. It's a space where regulators, market institutions, industry leaders, as well as the global experts come together to exchange ideas and share those perspectives. Each edition has strengthened this collective conversation. And this year, ladies and gentlemen, we gather under a powerful and timely theme: sustained capital formation. At the time when India's markets are expanding in depth, diversity, and global relevance, today's discussions are not just relevant, they are truly essential. We invite all of you to share your insights and key takeaways on social media using the hashtag Samvad 2026 as one word. As we always feel that let's allow these conversations to travel beyond this room today. But looking at such bright faces today in the morning, ladies and gentlemen, I must say I'm extremely elated and honored to be here today. And let's begin by acknowledging each other's presence with a warm round of applause. Can I request our audience members to give a resounding round of applause and acknowledge all of you who are present here in huge numbers. And now, to begin today's proceeding, may I please request everyone present here to kindly rise for the national anthem.
जनगणमन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल गंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे.
Thank you so much. You may be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, as we move forward, we now arrive at a moment that symbolizes the union of tradition and purpose. The Saraswati Vandana, invoking the goddess of knowledge and wisdom that reflects the very values that underpin strong institutions, informed markets, and responsible capital formation. Simultaneously, we will also witness the lighting of the ceremonial lamp. Here in India, it is a timeless symbol of clarity, integrity, and collective progress. For the rendition of Saraswati Vandana, we have our very own talented students from NISM who will be joining us for the same. But for the time being, we'd also now like to invite our distinguished dignitaries with us who are present on stage now. First off, our chief guest, Shri Arvind Virmani, Honorable Member of Niti Aayog. Let's give him a warm round of applause as we welcome him. Shri Puneet Kanta Pandey, Chairman, SEBI. Let's welcome our leader with a big round of applause. Our keynote speaker, Ms. Samara Cohen, Senior MD of BlackRock, Samara. Thank you so much. Let's give her a warm round of applause as we welcome her. Shri Shashi Krishnan, Director, NISM. Let's give him a warm round of applause as we request him to join us on stage for the lamp lighting ceremony. We'd also like to place on record our deepest appreciation for the participating institutions whose steadfast support and collaborative efforts have been integral in organizing the symposium. May I also invite the MDs and CEOs of these institutions to the dais for the lamplighting ceremony. Ladies and gentlemen, the MD and CEO of BSE, let's please call upon stage Shri Ramamurthy. Thank you so much for joining us. We'd also like to take the opportunity of calling the Honorary Shri Ashish Kumar Chauhan, MD and CEO of NSE, Shri Nehal Bora, MD CDSL, and Shri Vijay Chando, MD and CEO of NSDL. Ladies and gentlemen, the applause has to be roaring. We've got such great leaders under one roof. May I please urge our dignitaries to now join us towards the lamp for the lamp lighting ceremony. It's only moments like these that we have such dignitaries here with us on stage.
I got MD.
अज्ञानता से हमें तार दे माँ, इशार दे माँ, इशार दे माँ, अज्ञानता से हमें तार दे माँ। तू स्वर की देवी है, संगीत तुझसे, हर शब्द तेरा है, हर गीत तुझसे। तू स्वर की देवी है, संगीत तुझसे, हर शब्द तेरा है, हर गीत तुझसे। हम हैं अकेले, हम हैं अधूरे, तेरी शरण में हमें प्यार दे माँ, इशार दे माँ, इशार दे माँ, अज्ञानता से हमें तार दे माँ। मुनियों ने समझी है, दुनियों ने जानी, वेदों की भाषा, पुराणों की वाणी। मुनियों ने समझी है, दुनियों ने जानी, वेदों की भाषा, पुराणों की वाणी। हम भी तो समझे, हम भी तो जाने, विद्या का हमको अधिकार दे माँ, इशार दे माँ, इशार दे माँ, अज्ञानता से हमें तार दे माँ, अज्ञानता से हमें तार दे माँ, अज्ञानता से हमें तार दे माँ।
Thank you so much. A heartfelt thanks to the talented students of NISM for that serene and soulful invocation of the Saraswati Vandana. It truly was a fitting and the auspicious beginning to Samvad 2026. But ladies and gentlemen, before we begin with the inaugural session, may I please urge all our dignitaries who are present here to please grace us with the occasion of coming together for a group photograph. Can we urge the five of you to please proceed forward? Just allow us an opportunity to capture you first in one frame. And we also feel that when you have such great leaders for the inaugural ceremony, they need to be encouraged with a big, big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Such a pivotal moment. We are having such great leaders with us on stage here to kickstart with Samvad 2026, and we are here to begin with the inaugural ceremony. And it's truly a befitting moment that the topmost leaders are here to encourage all of us today. Thank you so much to our leaders. May we request you to kindly be seated, and thank you for being with us today. Before we proceed further, let us take a brief moment to reflect on the journey of Samvad. A journey that started as an international research conference on securities market under the aegis of SEBI and NSE 7 years back, which was rechristened as Samvad last year. So technically, we're now in its 7th edition. Samvad has evolved as a premier annual platform for thought leadership, policy dialogue, and stakeholder engagement in India's capital multiple forums. And indeed, today, it's such an honor to have him once again join us. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give it up for none other than the MD and CEO of NSE, Shri Ashish Kumar Chauhan.
Dr. Arvind Virmani, Honorable Member, Niti Aayog, Shri Coindcx Pandey, Chairman SEBI, Sushri Samara Cohen, Senior Managing Director, BlackRock, Shri Shashi Krishnan, Director, NISM, full-time members, executive directors, and other senior officials from SEBI, distinguished leaders from market institutions and the industry, colleagues from NSE, colleagues from other market institutions, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning. It's a privilege to welcome all of you to Samvad 26, convened by SEBI and NISM, a forum to reflect on how our markets have evolved and to shape how they must evolve in future. May I especially welcome Dr. Arvind Virmani, our chief guest today, who I associate for over 32 years when I was in process of setting up NSE and he was in process of making policies for enabling NSE to come up at Ministry of Finance, and also congratulate him for his contribution to India's economic thinking and public policy over all these years. So we are honored to have you with us today. On a personal note, since I was 25 years of age, I have been associated with Samvad, with SEBI, government, industry, intermediaries and investors. Over 3.5 decades, through that Samvad, together, brick by brick, we have built the modern markets we see today. Samvad here carries that same spirit, constructive dialogue, shared responsibility and nation building. The theme of Samvad 26, long-term economic ambition, it brings together three powerful ideas: sustain, capital and formation. Each word matters and together they frame what India must get right on the road to Viksit Bharat as envisioned by our Honorable. Last word, formation, because it is often seen through a narrow lens. Capital formation is not the same as capital mobilization. Mobilization is only the starting point. Capital formation is what emerges, the value, wealth and productive capacity. Developed economy will require sustained high growth over the next 2 decades, around 8% in real terms and 10 to 12% in nominal terms. That trajectory demands a clear setup in investments. India's investments rate must rise from 30% of GDP to 35%, with a large share coming from market-based financing to complement bank credits. Translating this mandate into reality requires us to deepen capital formation across both equity and debt markets. On the equity side, this means expanding SME as well as infrastructure pipelines, reducing issuer frictions and crowding in long-term.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chauhan, for that thoughtful and comprehensive opening and for setting the tone for today's deliberation. Ladies and gentlemen, we now move on to the keynote address, which brings a valuable global perspective to our theme. It's our privilege to welcome our next leader, who's a Senior Managing Director at BlackRock and the Global Head of Market Development there. A member of the BlackRock's Global Executive Committee, she has played a pivotal role in shaping global capital markets, strengthening market structure, and expanding investor access through innovation in ETFs and index investing. Over the years, she's been recognized amongst the most powerful and influential women in finance. Ladies and gentlemen, it's indeed our honor to welcome on stage and the dais now, as she's present, let's call her Ms. Samara Cohen.
Good morning. It's an honor to join you here in Mumbai, a city whose energy and history as a financial center remind me of my own roots in my native New York. This is my first trip to India, and I made sure to arrive early. Joined by some gracious colleagues who agreed to spend part of their Sunday with me. We walked the waterfront in Bandra, envisioning how today's skyline emerged from a cluster of 7 islands, and witnessing firsthand how Mumbai's evolution as a financial hub has been shaped by trade, exchange, and a vision for the future, long before stock exchanges, electronic bond markets, or digital payments took hold. Our guide did tell me that Mumbai is better compared not only to New York, but also to Washington, D.C. and Los Angeles, because Mumbai uniquely combines finance, politics, and entertainment. I look forward to seeing a bit more of the city before I leave tomorrow night. As we just heard so eloquently from the NSE leader, markets are built on trust. Trust that contracts will be honored, rules will be clear, and risks will be shared fairly. This trust isn't automatic. It's forged over time through law, regulation, and the daily actions of market participants. India's history is a testament to this, from informal trade networks built on reputation to the sophisticated capital markets we see today that are supported by robust frameworks and oversight. In 2008, as the global financial crisis unfolded, I was working on the trading floor in the derivatives business of a bank that was in the headlines day after day, embroiled in debates over the role banking and derivatives had played in the shocks experienced around the world. I was also a new mother with a 22-month-old son and a daughter who was born 3 weeks after Lehman Brothers declared bankruptcy. The day before her birthday was one of the largest market drops in history. Experiencing this loss of trust in our markets as a new parent ignited my passion to make markets more accessible and more resilient so that more people could understand, participate, and trust that they will deliver. The reforms initiated after the GFC have created a much more resilient system and earned back some of that trust, but there is much work still to do to ensure that more investors can participate in economic growth. Today, India's market capitalization exceeds 5.5 trillion. Mutual fund assets under management have reached almost $1 trillion, and over 200 million investor accounts are active. These are remarkable achievements. But they also bring new responsibilities to strengthen market integrity and resilience, and to ensure that India's markets remain trusted, robust, and globally competitive. India's markets have weathered global volatility and attracted record foreign inflows. FPI turnover surpassed 1 trillion last year, up from less than 400 billion in 2017. India's capital markets have also outpaced most emerging markets in growth and innovation. The market cap to GDP ratio has risen from 70% in 2016 to over 130% today. And regulatory advances such as T1 settlement and strengthened surveillance have set new benchmarks. Retail participation is at an all-time high, with 78% of investors under 40 years old. And during my visit to the NSE this week, I was delighted to learn that 1 in 4 Indian investors is a woman. This is amazing, but I think we can do even better. So let's talk about how we can close some gaps and unlock even more opportunity. While 63% of households are aware of the securities market, only about 9.5% actually invest. Of the more than $1 trillion of annual household savings, only about 5 to 6% is invested in equity markets. Sitting in cash may be one of the biggest risks for an investor whose wealth accumulation will not keep pace with inflation. Fewer than 100 million Indians have pension exposure to capital markets, and foreign investors account for a smaller share compared to other regional markets, suggesting underinvestment in India by the rest of the world. These gaps are opportunities to turn retail cash into investments, to foster foreign investment, and to streamline market access.
Thank you so much, Ms. Samara Cohen, for those insightful perspectives and, of course, for setting that strong global context. Let's give her once again a big round of applause to express our gratitude to her. Ladies and gentlemen, it is now our privilege to call upon our next speaker, a distinguished IAS officer and one of the key architects of India's financial and market reforms. He was the Secretary of the Department of Investment and Public Asset Management, and in January 2025, ahead of the Union Budget, he was appointed the Revenue Secretary. With his deep experience as a former Finance and Revenue Secretary, he has led landmark initiatives, including the LIC IPO, Air India disinvestment, and major fiscal reforms. His leadership continues to strengthen market integrity, investor protection, and confidence in India's capital markets. His four core focus areas lie around trust, transparency, teamwork, and technology. And let me assure you, the multiple times I've had the opportunity
Shri Arvind Vermani ji, Honorable Member Niti Aayog, Shri Ashish Kumar Chauhan, MD and CEO NSE, Shri Ms. Samara Cohen, Senior MD BlackRock, Shri Shashi Krishnan, Director NISM, distinguished guests, industry leaders, members and colleagues from SEBI, ladies and gentlemen, a very good morning to all of you. It's a privilege to welcome you to Samvad 2026, SEBI's annual symposium on the securities market. The name Samvad, which is dialogue, a conversation, captures the essence of why this platform exists. Markets thrive when ideas flow freely, when assumptions are tested respectfully, and when institutions listen as much as they speak. This forum is more than an event. It's a shared space for reflection on where our market stands and where they must go. This year's theme, Sustained Capital Formation, goes to the heart of India's economic journey. Capital formation is not simply about raising funds. It's about converting household savings into productive enterprise, about enabling innovation to scale, about allowing aspiration to find expression through opportunity. Most importantly, it's about building confidence, because capital flows most freely where trust runs deepest. Today I would like to reflect on one overarching idea. India's capital markets are no longer merely supporting economic growth, they are increasingly shaping the quality, resilience,
Thank you so much, Shri Tuhin Pandeji, for joining us. Truly a forward-looking and inspiring address. Let's once again encourage him with a warm round of applause. Always such a pleasure hearing from you. Thank you so much for joining us for the same. Now, ladies and gentlemen, it's my true honor to welcome our chief guest for today. A globally respected economist, he's somebody who's played a defining role in shaping India's macroeconomic and policy framework. He's somebody who has served as the Chief Economic Advisor to the Government of India and as the Executive Director at the IMF, bringing that rare global and domestic policy experience. His thought leadership continues to guide India's growth, reforms, and our chief guest, Shri Arvind Virmani.
SEBI Chairman, honored guests, ladies and gentlemen. I'm usually very brief on my intro because I have this tendency of overshooting my time, and I try very hard, so excuse me if I don't go into other things. So, next slide. I'm going to talk about Viksit Bharat. Three things I will talk about. A little bit about Viksit Bharat and its growth aspects, because that I thought would be of most interest to you. Two very important global trends which are critical to India's growth: world demography and concentration of manufacturing. And then some very brief observations on financial regulation. Next. So, Viksit Bharat, it loosely translates into developed India, but it's way beyond that. We won't go into the details, but the goal is very clear, and it requires sustained, fast, inclusive growth over the next 25 years. So I will start by telling you a little bit about the foundations of growth, present a kind of baseline scenario, and say a little bit about the aspirational aspects. You know, I was in Planning Commission for a long time, and we always had an aspirational scenario, which we knew may not be achieved, but it's always good as a motivator. So let me start with the first, the link on GDP growth. Not very clear, huh? So on the left, we have per capita GDP, and on the right, we have GDP growth. Just look at any one of these graphs. Let's take the left one. So this is the rate of growth of India relative to the world. That is the pink line, and the blue line is the rate of growth of India relative to China's. And what we see here, I have given from 2000, but if you see over 20 years, 30 years, what has been happening is that the rate of growth of India has been accelerating with respect to the rest of the world and also with respect to China. And in the case of China, we have just crossed the line from negative to positive. So this is a historical trend, and this is the foundation on which we are going to build. Next link. Next link. Yeah. Now people talk a lot about employment, so I thought I'll just put one graph of employment. This is the employment growth over the last 8 years, and this is a positive trajectory. this is the employment percent 8%. As I said, the 6.2% and catch up, in my view, is the easy part. It's going to happen. So what are these two trends? So one is global demography. I'm going to show you some graphs about the worker population ratio and the labor force across the world, what is going to happen in the next 25 years. Say a little bit about how India's global comparative advantage is going to develop, and then mention very briefly about the challenges which we face. So first link. So on the left, we have the change in worker population ratio of different countries. I'll just tell you about it. On the right, we have the change in labor force.
Thank you so much to our chief guest, Shri Arvind Virmani ji, for gracing us on Samvad 2026 with his presence and, of course, his visionary thoughts. Once again, let's encourage him with a warm, warm round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Now, since we're in the inaugural segment, we're pleased now to release the report of the Investors Survey 2025. An important initiative of SEBI in collaboration with AMFI, NSE, BSE, NSDL and CDSL. For this, along with our dignitaries who are present on stage, may I also take the opportunity of inviting our set of experts on stage, the MD and CEO, ladies and gentlemen, of BSE. Once again, let's give it up and call upon stage Shri Sundaram Raman Ramamurthy ji, along with Shri Nehal Vora, MD CDSL, Shri Vijay Chando, MD and CEO NSDL, and Shri S.L. Pandyan, Deputy CEO AMFI. Let's give them a big, big round of applause as we welcome all of them. While one of the largest household surveys of its kind conducted by Kantar, the survey captures those perspectives, behavior and expectations of both the investor and potential investor. This survey will serve as a valuable input for targeted investor awareness and policy formation to promote responsible investing and make India's security market more inclusive. Truly a pivotal moment as we now request the reports to be presented on the stage, and may I urge all our eminent dignitaries to please take the opportunity of unveiling that report for us. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the report of the Investors Survey 2025, and may I urge all our dignitaries to kindly take the opportunity of unveiling that report. And of course, your round of applause can only add more energy to them. So ladies and gentlemen, at Samvad 2026, please give a big, big round of applause as we celebrate the official launch of the report of Investors Survey 2025. Come on, we can be much more energetic with our applause. Keep that going. To our dignitaries for joining us on the same, and may I request our dignitaries from the inaugural address to please stay back and stay seated. But meanwhile, congratulations.
Dignitaries of the dais, industry leaders, distinguished guests. As we draw this inaugural session to a close, I find myself reflecting on what the word Samvad itself means. Chairman did say that Samvad is dialogue. If I may add, sir, Samvad is also constructive discourse aimed at finding direction. And I think the direction, after listening to all the dignitaries on the dais, is very clear. We are looking to architect a future-ready India. And I think the insights that were shared by the dignitaries over the last hour and a half are not really academic. They're really laying out a roadmap for our economic sovereignty. And I think, as many of these speakers said, we are...
Ladies and gentlemen, we will now going to be taking that opportunity of felicitating our dignitaries on stage. Dignitary Shri Ashish Kumar Chauhan ji. We're requesting Shri Sunil Kadam, Executive Director, SEBI, to now please join us and further felicitate Shri. All of you, to just allow us a few minutes before we get set for our next session. But can we kindly request you all to say stadium? Thank you so much.
Officially now you got the information from SEBI that your settlement has been accepted. So what's your reaction and how going ahead, what will be the process? And can you tell us what will be the now IPO timeline?
It's a good news that once we get the formal no objection certificate in writing, then we will prepare DRHP within 4 months, and then after that we submit to SEBI again we will have securities and other things, and so we also check
There are disclosures for corporate governance, all kinds of disclosures. The companies need to disclose. So an LODR has been amended to facilitate such disclosures. Materiality of disclosures have been there. So I think on disclosures, SEBI's record is not a...
Managing Director, Kotak AMC. Amitabh Chaudhary, Managing Director, Chief Executive Officer, Axis Bank. Andrew Sheng, Distinguished Fellow, Asia Global Institute, the University of Hong Kong, who has shared his recorded lecture with us as well. Maybe before we begin with this session, can I request our 4 dignitaries who are present here? We always like to capture a picture before our sessions. Can I please urge the 4 of them to join us in the center, allow us an opportunity to first capture this moment and then of course thereby begin the discussion. Can we walk there, ladies and gentlemen, collectively give them a big round of applause for all of them to take out their valuable time. Each question is going to be having 20 seconds for response, and as you can see on the screen, we have the QR code.
Yeah. 7 years now, and it's very nice to see how the event has matured over the years. And one good thing which I personally like about this is every year every member of SEBI is asked to moderate a session, and I quite welcome it because for a change it turns the table, you know. I get to ask questions to the market participants. So It's been such a stimulating morning. We've had such fantastic round of discussions. I hope we can keep the momentum on in this session as well. Let me just turn to my kind of formal setting the context for this session. As we all know, India's capital markets have come a long way. We have expanded, we have deepened, the width has also increased. In every respect, we've witnessed a very good expansion. And at the same time, the expectation
is dazzling and yet frightening. Generative AI, artificial intelligence and robotics, genomics are already transforming every aspect of life. We are already using AI to help us invest better, and very soon we will be talking not to human securities analysts or advisors, but AI agents who can answer your questions specific to your needs. Remember, robot or not, it's still your money to win or lose. Buyer beware and self-awareness of your own weaknesses and blind spots are always necessary to invest in an uncertain world. Reimagining the future is both exhilarating and frightening at the same time. Studies of how people consider the arrival of AI show that half are optimistic about rebooting growth and productivity, but half are pessimistic as to job loss and robots taking over from humans. Companies that invest in AI find that they must completely train their existing
Dependent on foreigners or a few individuals. Today, if you're a good company, mid-size or large, or you're a small investor or large investor, this is probably the most efficient market in the world. So I think first of all, when we step back, we should really give a lot of credit to policymakers, regulators, market participants who all come together to make this remarkable transition happen. So the question really is, what's the challenge and what will it take to keep this engine going so that in 30 years, we again have another remarkable story to talk about from this launching pad. I'm actually going to step back and think about something which I think needs to happen slightly outside the gamut of the exchanges itself, but I think the exchanges need to play a critical role working with policymakers and industry participants. Look, if you step back and look at what has been happening in the US in the same 32 years, today, in these 32 years, about 40% of the US capital market is absolutely new companies. These companies didn't exist. In India,
sustainability is an important part of investment research thesis. We essentially evaluate share price as a net present value of future cash flow. If you are not going to sustain cash flow, net present value cannot be high. Now, obviously there are challenges. We are not the expert on sustainability management. When we go and meet companies, they put PhD in various fields in front of us, and it's very difficult to argue with them. So one of my suggestions will be to replicate what is known as Climate Action 100, where top 100 investors or the large investors of the world come together to engage with top 100 polluting companies. Unfortunately, a couple of them are in India. These large fund houses have the financial muscle to attract talent which can teach sustainability to their investing company. And we get an audience on the link side. When we hear how these large investors are pushing sustainability agenda to their investing companies, we also learn a lot, and then we can replicate with other investors. So in India, I think we should have Climate Action 100 kind of workforce, where large investors carry the lead on sustainability management, but share the knowledge with other investors so that we can make this a campaign. The second thing, on the sustainability side, from a disclosure point of view, earlier there was a challenge in terms of understanding data. but thanks to AI, we are able to put the data back into the model and raise.
Best persons to answer, as somebody who's been very closely associated with the evolution of social stock exchange. So why are we not seeing the scaling up? You wanted to say something? Oh, please. Nilesh has a flight, so we'll let him go, please. Thank you so much.
Look, I think the social stock exchange, first of all, is a remarkable initiative. Kudos to the government and SEBI for basically laying the framework for it. And I truly think its time will come. It's just that it will take time to get popularized. It's very, and just for the sake, for the benefit of the audience, I think the reason why it's so important is basically because what we haven't done yet is democratize the giving movement in a transparent way, in a way in which we can give money very easily, the way we managed to do it in the equity markets. And by having this entire giving infrastructure ride on the stock exchanges infrastructure is actually brilliant. Because today, you can be on Axis Bank's app, or you can be a Kotak's app. You can reach all their accounts and be able to basically give money. And it's not just about giving money, it's about bringing hundreds and crores of Indians into the development dialogue and being partners of change and how India evolves. And I think that's what's really, really important. What will it take for this to happen? I think it's a matter of time. But if you go back to the step functions in the development of the stock market as well in India, sometimes it takes that one big issue, the Reliance type issue, which captures people's imagination. I think maybe there'll be one or two really, high imagination issues which will come to the market in the next year, which will capture people's imagination.
We'll really wait for that moment. Thank you. And now let me move to my last round of short closing questions and very brief answers in the interest of time. So, to you, first question, rise of private is it a regulatory blind spot?
No, I don't think so. I think it is coming up because there is a need for it and there is demand for it. Obviously, one has to be watchful, but ultimately it is private credit. I mean, people who are getting into it are knowledgeable. If they lose some, they lose some. I mean, the market will evolve over a period of time. I don't think, obviously regulators have to watch it, but not something we should worry about at this stage.
Okay, so let me ask you another question. Your sense of how acceleration of AI, which we are witnessing, it would change the financial sector landscape?
Oh, it will change dramatically because AI can do on both the sides. On one side, it can allow you to automate processes, can go and attack certain set of customers you can never think of. It can do things which human beings are doing and you apply armies of people doing it to upgrade systems which people right now using or deploying. So there are huge benefits which will come from AI. Earlier there was a lot of talk, but now we are seeing some real benefits. On the flip side, AI can use it to do all kinds of wrong things. So on one side, we have to take full advantage of it, and there will be significant changes in the flip side, we have to prepare for a world where AI will be misused, and people will come across new scams,
in the middle, but we're going to have this opportunity of felicitating all of you on stage. But before that, Amarjeet, we did this quiz. And we also would want you to felicitate the winners if that's okay. So, can we request our quiz winners, Rishikesh Shukla, Aditya and Yogi Kedari to please now join us on stage. Come on, ladies and gentlemen, a big round of applause as we welcome all the winners of the quiz. Rishikesh Shukla, Aditya and Yogi Kedari, please to join us together on stage. And remember, we're going to be continue to have a lot more quiz throughout you so that many get this opportunity of being with us and getting the gift. A small token of appreciation. Can we request?
It checks and then sees whether all of them are complied or not. Wherever it is not complied, it highlights. Next is BSE specific additional whatever we have put in place. It checks for that.
तो गाइस मैं बाहर आ चुका हूँ और इवेंट ख़त्म हो गया, चलो वापस चलते हैं अब। और बहुत अच्छा लगा देखने में, चलो चलते हैं वापस अपने घर की ओर। चलो चलते हैं सीढ़ियों से वापस। गाइस मैं बाहर आ चुका हूँ, अब चलते हैं सीधा रेलवे स्टेशन और वहीं मिलता है आपको। ये देखिए आप, बम्बई सिटी, बहुत बड़ी बड़ी बिल्डिंग है ये आपको, गाड़ियाँ सब कुछ। तो गाइज मैं रेलवे स्टेशन आ चुका हूँ और अब चलते सीधा बड़ौदा की ओर। और अब मैं आपको दिखाता हूँ, मेरे सामने है रेलवे स्टेशन। तो ये देखिए आप रेलवे स्टेशन आ गया है और इसके अंदर चलता है अब हम उस साइड से। तो गाइस फाइनली मैं मुंबई से अपने घर आ चुका हूँ बड़ौदा। तो आपने देखा होगा अभी ट्रेन में कितनी सारी भीड़ थी, तो लोकल में बहुत सारी भीड़ रहती है यार। कोई बात नहीं, आते जाते रहेंगे, एक दिन तो फर्स्ट क्लास में जाएंगे आप और हम दोनों, तो ये तो ऐसे चलता रहेगा। तो गाइस आपको पता ही है कि कल मैं इसी टाइम को मतलब 11:30 बजे या 12 बजे की मेरी ट्रेन थी बड़ौदा से, तो यहाँ से मैं सुबह मुंबई पहुँचा आज सुबह। तो क्या बताऊँ, कल रात को तो नींद भी नहीं आई क्योंकि जगह नहीं थी सोने के लिए, सिर्फ बैठा रहा। सुबह बहुत मतलब नींद खराब हुई थी। तो वो मतलब सुबह 6 बजे पुग गए, तो उसके बाद मैं पैदल 5 किलोमीटर सेबी NSE की बिल्डिंग मैंने आपको दिखाई, याद होगा आपको वीडियो में। तो मैं पैदल चला क्योंकि मुझे देखने को बहुत कुछ अच्छा लगता है कि बिल्डिंग ऐसी ऐसी होती है। तो मुंबई सिटी तो बहुत लवली सिटी है यार, आपको और मुझको बहुत पसंद आई है। तो आज हम जो संवाद में गए वो बहुत नेक्स्ट लेवल था मेरे लिए, क्योंकि मैंने ज़िंदगी में पहली बार ऐसा संवाद देखा यार। मैं गया तभी देखा, अगर मैं नहीं जाता तो क्या देखता यार। मैंने भी देखा और आपने भी देखा, मतलब मेरा और आपका एक्सपीरियंस दोनों का हुआ है। तो बहुत कुछ सीखने को मिला होगा, बहुत कुछ जानकारी मिली है आपको। तो दोस्तों संवाद में आपने देखा होगा कि जिसमें NSE के चेयरमैन थे और SEBI के चेयरपर्सन थे, उन्होंने बहुत ही अच्छी तरह से हम लोगों को रिटेल इन्वेस्टर्स ट्रेडर्स को भी बताया समझाया है। तो समझ में आया होगा आपको और बहुत कुछ सीखने को मिला है। और चलो चलते हैं, आज की इस वीडियो को अभी यहीं ख़त्म कर देता है क्योंकि बहुत लंबा हो चुका वीडियो। आपने देखा होगा कि बहुत लंबा वीडियो, पर इस लंबे वीडियो में मैंने आपको बहुत कुछ बताया भी है जानकारी के लिए, जिसमें आपको सीखने को देखने को मिला है, बहुत अधिक देखने को मिला, वो बड़ी बात है। तो दोस्तों आज के इस वीडियो में आपको वीडियो अच्छी लगे तो लाइक शेयर सब्सक्राइब कर देना। तो मिलते हैं अगली वीडियो में, तब तक देखते रहो सीखते रहो।